G'day and welcome to A Life That Travels. I'm Rob Malicki and today we're at the University of Technology in Sydney, UTS, and I'm standing in front of what is soon to be Australian higher education's newest building, building number 2, right up there. We're going to go and take a look around UTS. I absolutely love this place, so much to see, so much innovation that happens here, and by the end of this video you should know much better whether or not this might make a good place for you to come and study. Like all A Life That Travels university reviews and other content, this is completely unbiased. I have no agenda here other than helping you understand a little bit more about what this place is like. Let's go check it out. Here in this central courtyard area, I actually used to do a bit of work here at UTS for a couple of years, and back then pretty much all we had was like building number 1, which was actually voted as like Sydney's most ugly building. It's kind of like prison-like architecture. In this outdoor area there was nothing else, kind of other building over down this end, and now you can see they've actually completely transformed this central area. So you've got these brilliant new building, spectacular building number 2 up there, and this brilliant central courtyard for students. And what I'll do is drop in some footage here of later in the day what this looks like once it's full of students. It's absolutely extraordinary. And this is what they call the Tower Building. The Tower Building was the first building at UTS, and you can see it was probably built back in the 60s and 70s, where this like prefab concrete was all the rage. It's absolutely catastrophically ugly. The university struggled for many years trying to work out what the hell to do with this building, and came to the conclusion, I think rightly, that it's not about replacing that kind of ugly history, but it's actually just complementing it with this kind of beautiful new glassy infrastructure that you see elsewhere around UTS in town. And so right beside it, complete contrast, building number 2. Absolutely extraordinary, big windows, lovely curves. And what you end up with is this contrast between old and new. Old, like a prison, and new, gleaming, corporate, flowing, all these kind of things that we love to see in modern architecture. Over recent years, Australian universities have been building a lot. The federal government put a lot of money into new infrastructure at universities over recent years, but honestly, UTS I think has been one of the institutions that has done the most with that funding. They've really transformed what was, like in some ways, a bit of grubby old buildings in the inner city into this really sparkling precinct full of different opportunities for students, and really just like top level buildings, including the Frank Gehry building, sometimes criticised as like the brown paper bag, but it just shows this is a University of Technology. It's all about innovation, and you really get the feel for that when you're walking through its various buildings. Actually, this is an interesting one. Chinese medicine at UTS. This is like the most prestigious Chinese medicine program in all of Australia, and they have recently decided that they're going to be closing the Chinese medicine program, teaching out the courses. There's obviously a bit of a campaign on to try and save it. This is like the health and gym area. Obviously I can't go in there because you've got people working out, so we want to maintain their privacy. But the facilities, I can tell you, having actually worked here for a little period of time, great facilities here at UTS. I'm out on Harris Street, very busy street as you can hear, but that's the inner city for you. Just across the road there is the ABC, the Australian Broadcasting Corporation. Not quite sure about the linkages between ABC and UTS, if there's a lot of collaboration, but that's obviously one of the key places. And just over here on the other side, we've got Sydney Institute of TAFE. So if you are a student who's studying at the TAFE level and maybe looking to transfer across, literally a lot of courses taught just across the road here. This is, and look, this is not part of this video, right? but Sydney Institute of Tapers is really a fantastic institution in its own right. At some point I'll try and do a review about them. So I've just walked out of the main part of UTS, I've walked across Harris Street, and I'm just heading down to the secondary section of the university, which is where you find the business school and the law school and some of the other buildings, etc. And this is great because you're so close to Darling Harbour, you're so close to Chinatown, and there are just so many great places to eat and hang out down here as well. So it really is, if you're in an inner city kind of person, you like the hustle and bustle, perfect place to come and study. Most important order of business, coffee, first thing in the morning, so many options in around UTS. This is Universal, this is one of my favourite little places, which does a really nice little brew, just the other side of Harris Street, building 6, let's do it. Thanks guys, have a great day. All right, very important order of business taken care of. Other favourite coffee places on campus down on Harris Street, Toby's Estate, I think it's called. I'm going to show them to you. When I was working here at UTS, across the other side of the street there, it was basically just a brick pit. It's like a brewery, sorry. So like these kind of old buildings and heaps of space, and now it's actually been transformed into this most spectacular green building, living building. There's a huge mall in there, lots of residential apartments and stuff. Like literally, there is so much for you to do in and around UTS. It's extraordinary. Extraordinary! Right, this is what I'm talking about. A little bit later in the day, checking out this sort of central student courtyard area. And that's just pretty awesome, isn't it? Everybody chilling out on the grass. It's a beautiful day. On the deck chairs, conversing. This is like such an important thing for universities, is having some sort of places where students can congregate, work, catch up, hang out. And this central section is absolutely beautiful. Awesome. Here's what it is. New UTS Central, Student Central area will be opening literally next week, but for now, all closed up. So by the time you watch this video, this is going to be open and cranking. You can literally see people in there putting cables up in the roof, finishing it off. It's going to be pretty cool, folks. Very nice new addition to a very good university. Look at it, awesome. The university was actually founded in 1988, so it's a relatively young university, but its history goes back a lot longer than that, back to at least the 1940s, when it was founded as the New South Wales Institute of Technology, and has had several iterations. Some people will date the history of the origin of UTS all the way back to like 1830. So it's a place that's been kind of on this site and under development and evolving for a very, very long time. 1988 though, it's pretty recent for a university, just about 30 years, a little bit over 30 years. And the thing to really remember about that is that this is an institution that has come so far in such a short period of time. It's consistently ranked, if not the best young university in Australia, then certainly amongst the best young universities in the country, basically at every ranking that you look at. And honestly, as somebody who's watched this institution from the outside and has done a bit of work in here as well, it's a place that seems to be really moving and shaking. Innovation and entrepreneurship are both huge disciplines here, and it's certainly something that the university has prided itself on, is being a fast mover. One of the things that I would actually put that down to as an industry observer and someone experienced in higher ed is the fact that it's had really stable leadership. The previous Vice-Chancellors and even the current Vice-Chancellor, I've got a lot of respect for the leadership that they've shown. And one reason that an institution like this can thrive and grow and succeed is because it's had a really clear vision that's been seen through from the beginning to where we are now. So all of those things are definite positives for UTS. We're inside building 11, which is the new engineering building here at the university, and probably a good place to talk about rankings. UTS punches well above its weight. Not only is it the #1 young university in the country, but it also ranks inside the top 10 Australian institutions, 40 universities in the country. So it's just outside what's called the Group of 8, the Sandstones, University of Sydney and UNSW. Right behind that, you've got an institution like UTS, which is absolutely indicative of the great quality of teaching and research that it puts out here. On a global scale, on the major rankings, UTS is now inside the top 200 in the world, definitely putting it well inside the top 1% of institutions all around the globe, which is an impressive result indeed. So ranking somewhere between like 140 and 200 all across the world. So if rankings are important to you, this is certainly a place that is kicking goals. Now, when it comes to rankings, one of the things you should always think about is looking into the detail, because everybody is different and every institution has got strengths and weaknesses. So what you should think about doing is looking at the Australian government's quality indicators of learning and teaching, the QUILT website, and I'll drop in the URL right here, qilt.edu.au. On the QUILT website, you can actually look up every institution in the country, as well as all the different discipline areas, and you can see how students who've actually studied here have rated their experience. So both the quality of the teaching and learning, the graduate outcomes, whether or not they've gotten jobs easily, all of those things are trackable via QUILT. And if you look on there for UTS, UTS actually does relatively well. It is a very, very large university, 50,000 students at time of filming. Something like 70% of those are undergraduates, and then another sort of 15% doing postgraduate and research programs. So it's quite a large institution, but the resources are amazing here. Rankings are really good. I really feel like this institution, a lot of people look at Uni of Sydney and UNSW and think that those are the only really two prestigious options, but UTS is definitely nudging itself into that space as well. Certainly one of the advantages of UTS, as you'll see, is that getting here is really easy. Out here on Broadway, major street, got all the buses going all over the city, and Central Station literally like a couple of 100 metres up that way, so all of the mainline trains pull in here too. So certainly in terms of access, you've got fantastic access getting here, which is definitely a plus, makes things easier. On campus, there's also great end-of-trip facilities if you're going to come cycling into the institution. There are some parking garages, but they're pretty expensive. I certainly would not be driving in here every day. Very expensive. But to ride a bike, for sure. Awesome facilities, lock up your bike, have a shower. Definitely a good way to get here too. It's like this little Leonardo DaVinci expo going on here at in the engineering building. I was actually just in France. And I'm going to drop in a few frames from the Clos Lucé, which is in Unbiased in France, where Da Vinci died, and his final resting place, the final place he lived, was an amazing exhibit. So let me drop in some comparison footage of some of his exhibits from France. Look, I'm well impressed. This is the new engineering building, but you go into any of the new buildings here, and I've popped in and out of a couple. I just don't want to film in all of them. And the student facilities here are absolutely incredible. They've really paid so much attention to creating these kind of collaborative spaces where people can connect, the Wi-Fi's okay, you can sit and work together, either work on projects or meet up with people. So respect to the universities for really dedicating the funds needed to actually create a great student learning experience. Let's talk about extracurricular options, and the university here has done a phenomenal job in actually curating really one of the best series of extracurricular possibilities amongst all of the Australian universities. It has an absolutely exceptional entrepreneurship unit, and in terms of its internationalisation, opportunities for students to go and study overseas, do a study tour, short-term program and exchange. You really have just so many opportunities here. It's one of the most successful study abroad programs in the country, so that's obviously fantastic if you want to travel and experience the world as part of your degree. Tons of different disciplines are available to study here at UTS, everything from, like, as you would expect at a technology institution, things like data sciences and engineering and IT, right through to like your health sciences, law, international studies is very good here, science and maths on the engineering side, of course. Very good business school, strong in communications, and then obviously once again that kind of technology side, design and architecture and building, all taught here and very, very well reputed. Well, I've had a fantastic time checking out the absolutely vibrant campus of UTS. And I reckon if you're coming here to study, you're in for some really good things. You know what? I'm going to make a massive call. I'm an entrepreneur. I've started businesses, that have been pretty successful. Traveled all over the world, backpacked, business trips, you name it, whatever it might be. And this place really resonates with me. You've probably gotten the feel for that as I've been walking around. Just the way that it's sort of embraced not only its history, but created like the most spectacular facilities for students. Its teaching, entrepreneurship, extracurricular offerings are all really up to the mark, like highest level in Australia kind of thing. If not best in Australia, but very high up, you know what I mean? And I reckon that if I was coming back, me, knowing what I know now about myself, entrepreneur, business, wanting to like push myself further, travel the world, UTS is definitely a university that I would strongly consider as a place to come and study. So, if it's on your list, I reckon this would be a good option for you. Anyway, hit me up in the comments. Do you study at UTS? What's your experience here? Do you have any questions? Hit me up down in the comments. That would be incredibly useful. And I'm Rob Malecki. Thanks for joining me on A Life That Travels. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.